Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Ninja Knight. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you. So I watched the first episode of Star Trek Lower Decks last night, and this is going to be a review for the episode itself. I thought, given it's the first episode, it was going to have its problems, but I didn't quite think it was going to have the amount of problems that it did, especially with being the first episode coming straight out of the gate. It's supposed to really drag you in, but to me it didn't. There wasn't anything about it that made me want to see more of it, to be honest. I found the characters very annoying, and I found them very, very bland. And I think that was my biggest criticism. There's some characters that seemed like a knockoff of other characters, and then just blandness really took over. There was nothing creative about it. If it's supposed to be a show that's supposed to make you laugh, it didn't even generate a smirk out of me, let alone a chuckle. And that's not a really good starting off point. And so I'm going to break down each of the characters, and I'm going to say, well, this is what I think you could do to improve them, or maybe this is what they should have done. So our first one here is Enzo Mariner, and this character was just very bad. She was totally unlikable throughout the whole episode, and she started off, and apparently it looks like that she's a bit of a rip-off of Rick. She has that fast talking ability. She likes obviously alcohol. Does the squinty eyes and stuff like that, similar to Rick, and it seems like that she's just a bad knockoff of Rick. And I think that's about as far as the character went. Now, obviously, there'll be spoilers in this review, so towards the end of the episode, we find out that the captain of the ship is actually her mother, and an admiral is her father. There's kind of a bit of history throughout the episode that she got demoted and she doesn't really care, but I think ultimately she is a character that does care, and she seems to like to flaunt the rules. Um, Again, a strange enough character because she seems pretty dim-witted through the whole episode for a character that's supposed to have people that are parents of hers that are actually good members of Starfleet. She seems pretty dim-witted, and she starts off by irresponsibly drinking and then cutting into her friend's leg. It's a very odd trajectory to take the character, and personally I think they could have improved the character by maybe having more flaws within the character herself. She seemed to be really good at doing everything, and there just doesn't seem to be room for improvement. And I think her mother within the show, the captain of the bridge, she pretty much summed it up and just said that she tries to undermine her at every turn, and that's the way it sounded. That she just, as a lead character, she was completely unlikable. There's a big difference between Olin Rogers' Final Space and his character of Gary. Gary's very, very stuck up himself. He's very interested in himself, but he still has his flaws. He still has emotion to him. He still cares, even though he fancies himself as a bit of a renegade and a bit of a bad boy. But he's anything but, and he has to really overcome these problems as the episodes wear on. And in my first episode of watching Final Space, I really liked the character Gary, and all of the characters as well too, like Avocado and stuff. But this character here just really failed to land with me, and I think she really could have been a lot better if she showed a little bit more humbleness, if she showed a little bit more uh, concern in her past, and maybe the fact that her mother is the captain, maybe a little bit more there towards her, a little bit more love, and maybe towards her father being an admiral as well too. Maybe bring that in. It could have been a little bit better, but again, disappointing seeing this character behave the way she did, and she just seemed to be great at everything, and her motives as well too, sneakily going around Starfleet's protocols for contact and getting involved with a spider creature it seemed just very badly planned. Our next character is Jack Quaid as Ensign Boimler, and yeah, not a great character, very bland as well to himself, and disappointing as well too because Jack Quaid is quite a good actor. Most people will know him from The Boys as being Huey from The Boys, so he's gone from being a character that is initially pretty scared and pretty wimpy into a character that stands up to the soups. But in this one, he just comes off really badly. Like, he's sweating going up to the bridge. He's just very unsure of himself for a guy who supposedly knows loads about Starfleet regulations. He knows nothing about the life on the planet that you eventually go to. It seems very, very cut between that they just want to make this character just to be as submissive as possible, and that's really disappointing because, again, you have one character that's a lead that's completely unlikable. I get that this guy is supposed to be the Morty of this, and it's very easy to see that the people that created this don't have too much of a branch to go forward, because again, like I said, the previous character was a very bad rip-off of Rick. This character seems to be quite a bad rip-off of Morty, and it shows. He's unsure, he stutters, he sweats, he has the weird face expressions, and again, his character kind of goes really nowhere within the first episode too. He's taken under her wing, and she's like, "Oh, make a tough guy out of you," and it's like, well, really, that's not really what I'm interested in. Again, poorly written, I think. The next two characters for me are probably the biggest offenders, and Enzo and Tendi. So the episode starts off, and Enzo and Tendi, I think at the beginning of the episode, it's supposed to be the viewer's eyes. She's supposed to be the one that you're going in and saying, well, look, this is what Starfleet is like, and this is the type of individual that's really kind of new, and the fact that her skin is green as well too. She's green to the job, so you would hope that she would be the viewer's way in, and certainly for new viewers as well too. But this character just did nothing but kind of squeal and when things happened, particularly by by Mariner. Like it was really strange, and it just goes to show that SJW conversations and phrases don't fit well when they're not written on Twitter. And this individual, I feel, is just a personification of Twitter and the SJWs on it. She was just very bland. Things she said weren't funny, and I was actually now want to see the character again. She, for me, just didn't really nothing throughout the episode. She's a medical character, and she pumped her heart, and that was about it. And she was kind of disgusted by it, but there was no quick-wittedness from her. I would have liked to see her character maybe get involved with how to cure the zombification of the crew. That'd have been nice to see, that she's quite smart, or something like that would have been really nice to see. But again, just a bad missed opportunity and very bland. This one here is, to me, is like I suppose the sister in Rick and Morty. She's a good character, but just a little bit bland. She's a little bit bland compared to Rick and Morty, I suppose. This guy was really disappointing, because when you see his design, you're saying to yourself, wow, this guy could be really interesting with the cyborg implant on the left hand side of his head. Enzo and Rutherford, this guy was awful, and it came down to he was more interested in going on a date with a girl within the ship, and then it went weird then into him being really upset by the fact that the doors didn't open or close quick enough for him, and he broke it off with the girl. That could have been a nice kind of arc for him, to be seeing someone within the ship, because again, we've seen relationships in the past with Star Trek, so it would have been nice to see that going forward for this guy. But I feel now that we've kind of seen him play out already, in that he's getting used to a cybernetic implant, and it's kind of making him twitch and stuff now and again. And yeah, just disappointed with this guy too. And in the middle of a firefight and zombification of a lot of people on the bridge, and not on the bridge, sorry, in the dining quarters, he was more interested in talking about weird things with the girl that he was going out with. So again, I don't know, like, this character, again, very bland, very disinteresting. So that's 4 of your leads that are totally disinteresting, nothing really exciting about them, and nothing to draw you back really. For me, like, his arc is pretty much open and closed within the first episode. So unless the trajectory put his trajectory in a different course, I don't know. I don't think this guy is going to continue on really. So this is the last image I'm going to show, and this is the image that I think these characters were definitely the most interesting in the episode, funnily enough, and a lot of people as well too were saying that they wanted to see these characters. This was what the show should have been about, and I pretty much agree. I think Lieutenant Shax was quite good. Interesting character. You've got your big muscly character there, and he has his kind of like earring type thing as well on his right hand ear and his scars. This guy looked really interesting. Oddly, in the episode early on, they wanted to kind of disrespect him pretty quickly by saying he's big, but he has little hands and stuff. So I think that might be a dig at the Orange Man, personally, because that's the way it just seemed, to be honest. We've got Captain Freeman. I thought Captain Freeman was really good. I really liked her. I thought she was interesting, and I thought she was definitely a character I would have liked to see more of. Again, like I'm saying, I think these characters should have been the leads. I know it's called Lower Decks, but maybe you could have scrapped the Lower Deck kind of option of that and just show these characters. These characters came off really well. Captain Freeman I really liked. She was really a good leader, but also as well too flawed in that she didn't really know what to do at the time. And then again, she was really careful about her crew backing off, and I liked the way as well too that she was kind of front and center, and that Shax was backing off when he was trying to help people out, and he was trying to get the other crew out, then like Boimler as well too, particularly with the sludge. So I liked the fact that she led from the front. I thought that was really cool. And again, like, the relationship with her daughter, that we know Mariner now is now her daughter, was really good. But I thought the one part that I didn't like was when she decided to start yelling at her husband, who was an admiral. and she was screaming at him, and again they were kind of SJW tactics, and it kind of really broke that character for me. Winning the episode itself, it really broke her as this really ahead of the game, kind of really good, strong leader. She just kind of just ultimately broke down and just read and just screeched, and it was really disappointing to see a character that had been built up well through the episode, that she'd been quite strong and she was really authoritative. To see that was really cool, and then she was just utterly blasted then towards the end, and I was really disappointed. And her Admiral husband didn't come off looking good either, really. Commander Ransom, this guy again, kind of like the Gary knockoff, really, from Final Space. He really fancies himself and gets swatted with a fly pretty much early on, and he's the one that brings the virus aboard the ship. And again, I don't think we've seen enough of him really within the episode to make a judgment, but again, he was charming and kind of came off as a bit of an ass when he was on the planet, and kind of was quite disrespectful towards the local life, which I don't know if that's a Trek thing or has been a Trek thing before, but it seems to be kind of odd. I'd like to see his attitude towards the Klingons and see how that worked out. But again, not enough of this guy throughout the first episode. Again, he was amplified for the majority of it, so we wait and see if this guy improves. Dr. Tana, this character was a character that I thought looked visually very interesting and was interesting within the episode herself. This is a character I definitely think I'd love to see more of. Again, might be a subtle nod and subtle bit of shade at Final Space, given a cat-like character within the main cast, so it's kind of easy to see that. But I thought that character was quite good, and I liked her, and she was aggressive, and she looked kind of really sort of old and kind of burnt out on the job. So I'd like to see that playing more so into the season as it goes along. I mean, again, like I said, first episode was really bad, but I might give it another go and see if the other episodes are any good, and if they're not, well then, that'll be that really. But this character, again, I think going forward could be a solid base for the your Enzo and Tandy to learn from, and I'd like to see them working closely together to improve Tandy, and certainly as well too to show Tana if what kind of doctor skills she has. Again, she really figured out that the sludge was helpful really quickly, which I liked how brainy she was in that she could decipher that sludge was really well needed at the time, and that Boimler had to be protected. Well, not so much Boimler, but the sludge. So again, it was a little. That was actually a nice little bit of banter in itself. But again, it's clunky, and I think that these guys definitely should have been the leads. They look a lot cooler in their designs. They look a lot more visually appealing, and again, they kind of seemed interesting as the episodes wore on. So more of them I'd like to see, and less of our actual lead cast, which is not great when you're thinking of it really. Look, that was the first episode. I didn't laugh at it whatsoever, and I think that's probably an indicator of where we're going from here, because Rick and Morty I've never failed to laugh at. Some of the episodes obviously in Rick and Morty, some of them I didn't think were as funny as others, but there always was a laugh in there, or there was something that you could certainly walk away and think about. But from this episode, it was one and done. Like, I didn't think about it much after the fact. It didn't have any great philosophy behind it, and it didn't have any great message or anything like that, or any cleverly written hidden messages or anything in it. It was just very upfront about what it was, and it was, typical Kurtzman type of stuff really. Very low brow and not interesting, not funny whatsoever. So we'll see how it goes within the season itself, and my hopes for it are quite low. I went into watching this episode with very low expectations, and I came out with even lower expectations. I didn't think it was possible. Well, there you go. Anyway, that's my review. Please like, share and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel out, and I'll talk to you later.